It looks like things may have actually taken a turn for XRP. In this video, we're going to be jumping down into the world of XRP, taking a look at the price action from the smaller timeframes through to the slightly larger ones as well. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, you're missing a trick. Check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? Keep a finger on the pulse of crypto by joining us down in Discord. Let's just reflect on where we are at the moment. So we're going to start by taking a look at this chart. Basically, I just throw all the thumbnails on here with a line on when I put these videos out. This is to kind of help me hold myself accountable, but also to give everyone a good idea as to kind of what is going on here for XRP. So as we can see, the last video thumbnail is XRP to pump to $1. The structure was actually bullish on smart money concepts at this time, so things have changed a little bit. We've seen this come down a fraction more. It's still possible that we reverse up and we still push up, but we're going to reflect on the data and we'll kind of do an update right now. I'll draw this line in here. It's actually, the video is going to go live approximately here, and I'll just go ahead and add an arrow for now, but I'll add the thumbnail later. So we're going to update this. We can see that obviously where we're kind of calling these things more accurately. Most recently, it's been a very difficult market to kind of get a good bead on. Obviously, we're starting to see this move to the upside here. We were looking for a drop, but obviously we were expecting that to be a little bit higher, not actually at this point here. And we were looking at a bullish setup, but things have taken a turn. So we're going to jump into that now. So we'll start off over this side here. This is going to be 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧 theory on the 1 hour chart for XRP, paired up with a USDT on the hourly, and Binance is the data source, right? So as you can kind of see, we did bottom out down here, and we were expecting a move upwards, but it just didn't play out over the weekend. Pretty typical kind of stuff, really, to be honest with you. Over the weekend, things can be a little bit slow. And what we can do is we can kind of see here that we started to move back down, and this interesting kind of structure has emerged down here. It does end in 5 waves. To me, it looks like it is a regular 335. It does not appear to me like we have to be thinking about this thing as a bigger 5-wave structure, but it is possible. So it's going to go into that and take a look at whether or not we meet those requirements. So to kind of look at this thing, we can kind of see that we have really big volatile movements right in here, right in this particular section. Then we correct up, and then we come and pull back down. And this is this 5-wave structure that's got me interested right down here at the bottom. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. So right down here, you can kind of see that we have this structure right in here, and we kind of have 5 waves just taking us down, and that's the part that I find most interesting, because at the beginning here we can kind of see that we have a lot of overlap, but we don't really have a clear structured move 5 waves coming down. We do end in 5 again. We can argue here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming down. So to me, it just looks like we're 335 flat correction, and all in all, it looks like it's a 335 on a bigger scale as well. I'm not concerned about this being a 5-wave count going down like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think that's a thing. Not only do we have overlap down here, which would be irregular, I guess we could look at it maybe as a diagonal, but it would be a very strange place to see it. So all in all, I think this is all corrective at this point, and I don't think I'm too concerned about this move to the downside. I think ultimately what we'll do is we'll label this up slightly differently. We'll just go with a W, X, Y, X, and Z, and we can kind of see how that one plays out. Now, one of the things that's going on here is that we are going down into, grab hold of a trend line. I don't like them, but we're going to use them nonetheless. We are going into lower highs and, quite obviously, lower lows, right? And we're channeling down. Now, these have a tendency to have that break to the upside. So I still think that there is that bullish momentum to the upside here. And there's no big indication that we are to drop down massively on XRP. I think this is going to trap quite a few people out, as I do expect this to kind of break upwards. We can also argue that this looks very similar to a bull flag, where we kind of move up like this, and then we have the flag situation come down before breaking upwards. However you kind of want to look at it, I look at it as 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧 theory. Correction looks like it's coming to an end, and we can start thinking about that move upwards, right? So I know it's still possible that we rally down just a fraction more. Doesn't have to kind of finish here. Taking a look at this internal structure, I'd say that it probably is. But again, we haven't got a good move upwards yet either, so we'll be a little bit cautious here, and we could be looking for a bit of a move down before we rally on up again. Okay, so just bear that in mind. I'm hoping that this low down here at 48.1 cent holds for now. but we'll see how that plays out. Now, when I jump over into smart money concepts, this is where things get a little bit more bearish. Here we can see a few areas of concern. One, we have a strong high and we have a weak low. This is basically telling us that we're likely to come down deeper. And then, of course, the other concern is we've got all of these internal sell order blocks right here. And they're all dancing around that equilibrium right in the middle. And that, to me, is pretty bearish as a bearish setup. Now, not only do we see a strong high, weak low, equilibrium, and internal sell order blocks here, all in bearish situations, we also have a characterization of bearishness to the downside, changing us from bullish to bearish. And we have a break of structure confirming that change of characteristic. Essentially, very bearish here on smart money concepts. So concern, yes, we have concern that we're probably going to move down quite a bit here from a smart money concepts point of view. But at the same time, our setups here look actually like they're likely to go in the opposite direction. So it could be that this is now nearing an end and we're likely to come and test these higher ranges. A bit of a gamble on that one. I'm not going to be trading XRP at this point. I think I'd much rather wait for a better entry and a better structure to the market to allow us to understand what is going on. Right now, it looks like we're getting rejected from the 200 EMA. If we wanted to, I guess it would be reasonably safe to kind of think about this shorting position. We probably want to be above the swing highs. We could put this right up here if we wanted to, and target out at least 1.5 risk reward ratio, which would put us down on a trade looking for approximately around the 45.8. Again, this area here does fall in line with the support area, so it would be reasonable to kind of expect such a thing. But again, I think it's just gambling at this point without a good, solid structure to it. So smart money concepts is incredibly bearish on XRP right now. Elliott wave theory, not so much. It looks like it needs to correct upwards first. And I think we could see that on smart money concepts as well, to be honest with you. We're not going to change our character to bullish, I don't think, just by revisiting maybe around the kind of equilibrium area of 51 cent. I still think we could probably do that and still remain in a bearish state. So I think these two things are kind of aligned to a degree. We do have momentum that is way overbought on these smaller timeframes, so expect some kind of rejection here, I think, is the kind of thing that I'm thinking ultimately for XRP here on the smaller timeframes. Now, as we kind of scale up into our daily, this is where things start to really get interesting as well. We can see that this is correcting down quite nicely on the daily, which does give us that kind of idea that we haven't yet finished this move to the upside. We're bearish on the weekly timeframe, but I think actually we've got some potential here on the daily. I could be wrong. You know, it does look like we've kind of done the kind of expectations here. So let's go ahead and just show you what that looks like. If I go ahead and just move this fib over, you can see here we come down and got rejected from the 1.382 fib level right at the top there. It's a little bit overextending what you would normally expect to see happening within that kind of bigger structure. But if we go ahead and take a look at the substructure, and we throw that on here, you can see that it comes up again. If I just delete the existing one just here on the 1-to-1 ratio, it looks like it's pretty much well nailed that move to the upside here. So the internal count is A, B, and C just there. So ultimately, it looks like we have hit a local top here for now, but what we could be looking for is a bit of a brief correction and a bit more of a run upwards, because this X wave looks like it hasn't completed. With our move above 55.9, although brief, it does allow us to look at this as still a X wave in its state of correctionness, which means we could still be looking for a slight push up higher on this bigger macro piece. Okay, if I move this over, you can kind of see right up here, this yellow box area is kind of what we're looking for. We can see actually it's a little bit lower than this, to be fair. This is actually more to do with this gap on this side. And if I draw this yellow box area in, and I draw it right in here, you can see that what we're talking about here is 58.62 to 68.55 cent, right? If I go ahead and delete the fibs off, you can kind of see exactly where that overlap happens with this previous area of demand turning into a resistance line. Ultimately, our X wave here would be pretty well placed, and then we can start talking about a bigger correction. So it could just be that we have to have that last little bit of a grind upwards before we move on down. I would also note that it's possible here that this turns into some kind of W, X, Y, X, and Z, just pushes up into that final C wave structure there. So lots of different ways it could go. I still think there's potential upwards. Could be wrong, because it does look like it has met its minimum expectations. So it can, of course, reverse down. But my expectation here is that we're going to see a little bit of volatility on the smaller time frames, potentially push upwards just a fraction, and then start to talk about that move back down and calling off. As you kind of zoom out of this on the daily, you can kind of see how we're expecting this move to kind of play out and just drag us down a fraction more. So I don't think it's done yet. I think we're just in a big sideways trade if we're really kind of look at it from that kind of angle. But ultimately, yeah, my expectations are expect volatility on the smaller time frames with both directional or both moves occurring. We go up, we go down, with all the usual stuff, multiple different things occurring on the smaller time frames. And you know, on the bigger scale of things, I think we are bearish on the weekly, and we have the potential to have a small push upwards on the daily before we actually continue our move down. But again, I think it wouldn't take a lot to kind of knock over the dominoes and start to see a significant slide across crypto. So keep a close eye on it. But for now, yeah, I think XRP is well positioned to take advantage of in both directions. I think if you're trading this, given the right time and patience with it, I think you could probably trade it in both directions and make a pretty healthy profit. But let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm going to wrap this one up right there. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out, linked in the description below, guys. Until the next one, have a fantastic day.
We are not financial advisors, and none of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.